Hey, welcome back. It is Friday. I didn't think I was going to be able to get out here today, but some stuff aligned, and here we are, back out in the wonderful winter wonderland that is upstate New York right now. Yeah, so I guess this is a week that's a 2-for-1. I got the wire saw from the advent calendar. We're going to see if we can find something that's laying down and maybe cut through it. The trail's pretty kind of packed down, so I left the snowshoes in the car, so I don't really want to wander 500 yards, whatever, through 2.5 or so feet of snow. But we'll see if we can find something that's not too far off the trail to show the wire saw. Last year I was out about this time. I did the compass and the pine tea. So if I can find a little spot, I'm gonna make up some tea. It is it's around 3, maybe 4 degrees right now. It is still cold. So it is what it is. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Stick around if you want. Looking for some white pine. This kind of looks a little more like ponderosa. It's only got 3. I don't really want to take my gloves off here, but it's only got 3. It's supposed to still be okay, but I'm gonna stick with some eastern white pine. All right. couple inches. So they do work. There was a small eastern white pine that was over there, so I grabbed a branch to make some tea. Still a lot of breath there from the saw, but five on there. All right. Got the stove going. I decided to use this bench today. It's creaky crackling. Got a haversack. Gonna pull off a bunch of these pine needles to make my tea. That's it, really. Wanted to do a little test of the stove, some pine tea. You know, it's cold. It's pretty close to the point where, for me personally, it's unbearable. But you know, sometimes you just gotta go out and do stuff. Kind of rather do things when it's cold, and I can kind of bundle up to emit the cold a little bit than to be out here when it's 98 with a high dew point and really high humidity, like 98%, and you know, just getting out of the car and looking at your stuff, you start pouring sweat. Not much, did about a half mile over. I don't know if I'm gonna finish the rest of the loop or if I'm just gonna go back. I'm probably just gonna maybe go back or take the little short loop around the field instead of going all the way out and around. I don't know yet what I'm gonna do. Just right now, I want the water to heat up so I can get something warm. Basically, they're saying like it's supposed to be like a real field today. It's still like 0 or below. Excuse me, but so far the wind really hasn't kicked in yet. There's a very slight breeze, which is still enough to make it, when it hits you, feel a lot chillier than it is. Like I said, it's the high for this area is supposed to be around 8. When I left the house and checked, it said it was 2 with a real feel of about the same as the other day. But honestly, it feels about the same. But when you're out in the sun and you're not back in there in the shade, it feels a little bit warmer. So I was a little tricked by the sunlight. It is what it is. It looked beautiful out here. even though I knew what the temperatures were. So yeah, that's it. So pretty sure that was the ponderosa pine there in the beginning of the video. What I understand, that's safe and edible as well. But I don't want to tell you guys that it's 100% safe and have somebody get sick. That's not my thing, you know. For here, the eastern white pine I know is safe. So that's what I got, like I did last year. There is a couple other form of pines, evergreens, basically pines that you could use, and maybe at some point I'll do a little better, more in-depth video. But you know, I don't know. I kind of like doing my videos where I just come out here whimsy, and just do stuff, talk to you guys. I guess basically I'm talking to a camera in the trees, and you guys happen to be the after effect audience. I'm gonna steep those for a little bit once the water gets good and hot. But the reason I'm not putting them in there to heat it up is they have vitamin A and C in them. And if you put them in there to boil it, you kind of boil the vitamin C out of them. So that's why I'm waiting, and I'll put it in there afterwards to steep instead of putting them right in to start. If you don't want the vitamin C, you can throw them right in. So my trip report challenge, I won again on that. Got some cool stuff. Got a little cloak pin that actually has a flint and steel striker on it. That's pretty cool. Got a little carving knife that you can use to whittle spoons or even like little faces, stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. And I got this other knife that it's Martini from Finland. It's a nice little poop. I don't know if you can see it. Got a nice little leather sheath on it. Make sure I didn't go out. So, for all the guys that watched the videos that I did pertaining to that, thank you for hosting that, and thank you guys that put up the prizes. You know, I like that kind of challenge stuff because it, you know, it's a trip report challenge. You got to get up, you got to leave the house, you got to go out to your spot once a month, take your picture, and you're supposed to, you know, do a little trip, which I try to do. This area, I try to have something that's nice that, you know, shows change a lot, which happens to be water. So I like to have, you know, water in it. That's why for the first couple of years, you know, I did the creek back in the old area. This year I did the pond, because that kind of stuff shows the change really well. I stepped out and backed out for this year because I want to find a place that has a stream or something that, you know, so it's got some water in it. You know, these areas here are really nice. I like to come out and explore them. It's more of a plains area, and but once it gets warm weather, and I've sprayed myself down with tick spray, and even had some Sawyers on at times, and some Picaridin and some permethrin. And warm weather, I don't know, it's almost like they're impervious to it. They still get on you. And, you know, like I said with the tick pullers in the video the other day, you know, I've I've had ticks in me a couple times where I've had to go through, take the medication, and luckily, knock on wood, to my knowledge, no Lyme. But I know people who do have Lyme. Some of them, where they can't eat certain things. I'm a steak guy, so I don't want to take any chances. So I try to avoid these areas with these big fields like this because the grass gets really high fast, and that's the kind of stuff that they love. Actually, I did a video a couple of years ago. I think it was when I was first exploring this, and I came out here. I had like a red jacket on, and I was in this area, but on the other side, and it was pretty cold out. It had been down in the 40s for a little while, and that day I think it was like 46, 47, and I stopped to make coffee, and I had ticks on me. When I got back out to the car, I had them on me on my jacket. You could see them plain as day. So, I just want to be careful with that kind of stuff. So I want to find an area that's got a little less grassy. I mean, you're going to get ticks in the woods in a lot of areas. It's just a part of the woods. But, you can lower your chances by not going in hay or grassy areas. Just a little bit, you can lower your chances of getting them on you. Look at that. So once again, you learned a couple things. You learned those little budget saws can actually work. You saw some ponderosa pine versus the eastern white pine. And now you learned a little something about ticks. So that's all right. That's down low enough. I'll put the pine needles in there. Good thing to do too is maybe just break these a little bit like that. It brings the oils out. I don't know if I can find a stick. I'm not to do any whittling. I guess not. I'll walk down there. Probably find one. I want to do that, so. This is also the only area that I've turkey hunted in that I've actually seen turkeys and heard a couple. The other spots that I hunt that are closer to home, I seen one and I heard one, but I'm pretty sure it was over here when I heard it. And at one point too, I heard one and it was on the other side of the road. It was the first year I was hunting out here. And I wasn't familiar with that yet. I had just been kind of walking around this area to try to get familiar with it. And I'm really surprised they plowed this. So that was a bonus, a little change of scenery today than being over at the old camp area. Still got a bench, not sitting down in the snow, sorry. I'm not hardcore. Brought some cheese and crackers too. I got some cheese left over from an MRE. Yeah, it's still a little soft being out cold. And I got some crackers here. I got this at Wally World. I have a few of them. I use a couple of them in my kayak and canoe fishing kit to keep stuff in because they're waterproof. And I had this one. I had a PSK in it, and I have officially taken all of those apart because I usually have stuff in a bag or something, so I really don't see the need to have it. But they work pretty good if you're going hunting or something and you take crackers. You don't want them to get all crushed up. You can put them in a little Ziploc bag so that you don't have the crinkling of the cellophane wrappers. And you can put them in this and they won't get crushed in your pack. I don't think I'm gonna have crackers though. Not today. I think I'm skipping it. There's a couple of birds. No, I don't feel so alone anymore. Just I got birds to keep me company. Sometimes I just like to watch nature. I'm a hunter, so yes, I'm out here. Some of it tastes really good, but sometimes it's nice to just watch. You know, there's just little tiny haze type stuff. Those birds are flying around and fluttering in over there. That's what it's about. I mean, if you're not out here, you know, exploring and looking at the trees and enjoying your surroundings and the animals that live out here, the birds, the deer, the rabbits, the squirrels, chipmunks, all that stuff, you know, sometimes it's nice to just watch them. You know, to me, that's what it's about, is getting out here, getting the fresh air, getting the exercise, being in the woods, you know, the beauty of nature itself and all of its critters that roam. So yeah, I'm babbling because I'm just waiting for the cheetah. I'm just keep a little. Oh, it's hot. It's hot. So, let me know if you want in the comments, you know, when you go out exploring nature on hikes and stuff like that, you know, what is some of the stuff that you look for, or if you want, over on the forum, either one. I'm not talking about specifically going out and you're specifically scouting for deer, because everybody knows when you go do that what you're looking for, or if you're actually hunting, you know what you're looking for. I'm talking about on a day like today where you just go out, you know, you didn't have plans, you just threw some stuff together, you went out, you know, what do you enjoy seeing when you're out in the woods? You know, the trees, the snow. You don't like the snow. I don't like the snow much anymore either. I like to look at it, but I'm tired of shoveling it already. It's only February, not even quite yet. You know, but I like watching the animals and stuff like that, like I said 4 times now in this video. I like listening to the trees. Sometimes tell a story, especially when the wind's blowing, and the breeze is starting to already picking up a little bit. You know, the creaking of 2 tree trunks rubbing together. Sometimes the whistle that they'll make, or the creak that they'll make. Sometimes it sounds like people talking, the way the wind blows through the trees and the way branches will rub together. It's cool stuff. Alright, hopefully this is another good way to be able to tell what pine needles are a little bit edible is if you break them, they'll have a little bit of a resiny smell and have a little tiny bit of a citrusy smell. If they really don't have that, then I wouldn't even think about it. But, you know, get a good book about foraging. Go out, find yourself something, make yourself some pine tea, and enjoy. Especially when it's cold days like this. Yep, it steeped pretty good. So that's it. Another video with a little bit of scenery and some babbling. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.